could start then, that would be great. Cool.
Yeah.
I've started the recording just because I need to leave this
Yeah.
meeting and join another one. But yeah, I'll join you back soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Cheers.
We'll speak later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now I just see.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Good, good. Thank you. And you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm going to be giving, I guess, one or a couple of extra minutes just in case some participants are still to come back. I think you had a busy morning. I saw because I was invited to the meeting. I saw the chat
Take a dish.
conversations, and I saw you were talking about coffee and falafels and a bunch of
Falafel.
things.
Yeah, that's good. Do you know, Jesse, my daughter has the same name.
Okay.
Yeah, she is in year 12 now, and she's doing UCAT exam at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a big thing, right?
yeah, big challenge. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, it's good to see some of you again. For those that might not have had the opportunity to meet me before, my name is Jessica Morales, and I work with the global education team at Swinburne. So I work very closely with Adam Baker, who you might have met. And I guess I'm here today to give you a little bit of an introduction to Canvas, which is Swinburne's learning management system, and is the system that is going to allow you to see your learning materials. I'm going to try to, I guess, cover most of Canvas, but it's going to be, I guess, more like an introduction and an invitation for you to guys, for you to go and play around and discover perhaps other functions of the system. As I go through, I guess, the demo, I'm going to try to make a few breaks so you can ask any questions if you have questions, but feel free also to write them in the chat, and then maybe when we stop the presentation, I can go and have a read of the chat and answer any questions. Does that sound all right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So I'll be sharing my screen so that you can have a look at Canvas. So as I mentioned, so Canvas is a little bit like a central space for you to find all of your reading and learning materials, but it's now also used as a collaboration space, mainly for the delivery of online courses like the one that you're going to be undertaking, because it allows you to have a space to meet with either your lecturer or your other colleagues, similar to what we're doing currently with Microsoft Teams. But in this case, it relates to really one unit of study. So perhaps let's just start from the beginning, how to access Canvas. So maybe some of you have already visited the Swinburne website and kind of, read some of the information. When you go to the Swinburne website, there is a space that is specifically for students. And if you click on student login, you're going to find a lot of information about, I guess, all the services that are offered at Swinburne, some important information about orientation, student life, safety, library. But if you scroll, I guess, a little bit down, you're going to find also all your essentials. So a link to perhaps your student inbox, so your student email, and also the link to access Canvas. So if you click on Canvas here, it's going to take you to a new website. And this is the learning management system. So maybe some of you have used a learning management system before. There are many of them. There is one that is quite popular that is called Blackboard. There is another one that is called Moodle. So basically, they're just systems that universities or colleges or schools use to, I guess, save their learning and teaching materials. So today, I guess we're going to be covering different parts of Canvas. I'm going to start with a little bit of an introduction on how to get started on Canvas, and then we're going to go more into details I'm going to show you one of the units that you're going to be studying as part of your graduate certificate. And then we're going to go into, I guess, really the teaching materials. Where are your assignments? How can you see your grades? How can you discuss with your lecturer and your colleagues? So just bear with me. If you have any questions, try to write them down. We're going to take some time to answer all of your questions and make sure that you're prepared to start, I guess, your first unit very shortly. So as I said, when you click into Canvas from the Swinburne website, Access Canvas, you're going to arrive to what we call the dashboard. The dashboard is, let's say, your homepage for the courses and units that you're taking. As you can see, I'm very busy student. I have a lot of units, but I'm not studying all of them. I'm really just the administrator for a lot of these units. In your case, you might have, you know, a couple, maybe 3, depending on whether you've enrolled into other courses of units. But each of these little tiles represent a unit of study. Before we get into detail in the unit of study, I would like to just talk about what we call the Canvas navigation menu. So in Canvas, you'll have 2 navigation menus. The first one is the main navigation menu, and then you're also going to have a unit navigation menu. If we look at the main navigation menu that is here on the left side, you have a few tiles. In your case, you're not going to see as many icons as me because I'm an administrator for Canvas, but I'm going to walk you through, I guess, the most important ones. So the first one is going to be your account. This one, let me just have a look here, and it's going to be easier. So this is what you're going to see. The first one is going to be your account, and if you click on your account tile, you're going to be able to adjust first, I guess, notification settings, which might be quite important if you don't want to miss anything related to your studies. So when you click into notifications, because I'm on a test environment, it's not going to let me do it. So I'm going to go to the other one. Let me just go back. There we go. Notifications. You're going to see that there is a lot of notifications that you can adjust. I would encourage you to really go have a look and decide whether you want to be notified to your Swinburne email address when, for example, a due date is coming, when course content has been added. So really go in detail through these different settings to see what you want to be notified for. In my case, because I have a lot of courses, I have decided not to be notified for anything, but this is probably not a very good practice for you as a student. So if you decide that you want to be notified, for example, for due dates, you can then go and choose, for example, do you want to be notified immediately when your lecturer set a due date? Do you want to receive perhaps a daily summary of any changes to due dates? Do you want to receive a weekly summary? Or you can simply turn it off if you don't want to receive any notifications. So go through these settings because this is what's going to, I guess, help you to keep up on top of what's happening on Canvas and really not miss anything that might be important for your studies. If we go into account, the second setting that you have is your profile. Something that we encourage, I guess, is to add a picture of yourself. If you want to, it's not mandatory. In my case, I've added a picture. You can also add contact information if you want. Something just for you to be aware of is that this is going to be visible for all of your colleagues, so your peer students and your lecturers. So if there is some personal information like contact details that you don't want to share with everybody, then I would recommend you not to include them here into the profile. So those are the two main, I guess, settings that I would encourage you to visit. You can have a look at the other options underneath here. I'm not going to go into details today for those because I'm sure you'll be interested in learning more about your actual units. So if we continue in the global navigation menu, you're not going to see this admin button. The dashboard is a button that is going to take you back to what I demonstrated earlier. So really the overview of all your units. So wherever you are on Canvas, if you click on dashboard, you're going to go back to that home page and you're going to be able to see, I guess, that initial dashboard with every single one of your units. If you click onto courses, you're going to have simply a different view of those units. So this is, for example, the courses that I have. As you can see, in my case, I'm enrolled as teacher in a lot of them because I provide administrative support. But in your case, you might see only 3 or 4, and you're going to be enrolled as a student. And you can simply click on each of these courses to access the content. The next button is your calendar. So I'm just going to go this time again. Let's try it. And so I'm going to access one of these units. So this is an old version of one of the units that you're going to be doing as part of your graduate certificate. So the content might be a little bit different, but it's a test environment. So that's why I've chosen this unit. So if we go into calendar, which is the next icon on your main course navigation menu, it's a place for you to find key dates. So in this case, because I'm using this unit, I can see, okay, there is an assignment task coming up, there is a quiz coming up, and it's a way that you can also, I guess, add any important activities related to your studies in the same space. So for example, you can see I added some study time here, so you could just come here and create new events. So perhaps I'm going to add extra study time on Saturday. And this is something that you only are going to be able to see, so you can really play around and modify it as you wish. You can, if you want to change any activity, you can then just drag and drop. And you'll be able to differentiate, I guess, different type of activities. So these in orange are the ones that I created for myself, and in red are the ones that related, the activities that relate to the unit of study that I'm undertaking. And we're going to see these activities more in detail once we go into the unit. The inbox, I'm not going to click on the button because in this environment, it doesn't let me see it. But I have here a screenshot. So the inbox is really a space for you to communicate either with your lecturer or your peer students, similar to, I guess, your Swinburne email address. In this case, is just within Canvas. So you might see that your lecturer uses this function of Canvas to communicate with you. If the lecturer does, you're going to see notifications here. So for example, we have a little +1. It could be +2, +3, depending on how many notifications you have. And then by clicking on the inbox, you can see any new messages that have been sent to you. And you can also reply to those messages, similar to what you would do in an email. Let's go back to the course. After the inbox, I guess these you can have a look. Comments is going to take you to a Swinburne space. I'm going to jump to help. So help is where you can find information about, for example, specific functions of Canvas. So you can consult the Canvas guides and use keywords. For example, you're having trouble with assignments, you would be able to search within the community assignments and find instructions for whatever you need. You can also have a link to the library and study support resources. So just a central, I guess, space for you to find some resources related to Canvas. So that is, I guess, the main navigation menu. Any questions for now on the navigation menu, which is not your unit? We're just, I guess, at this stage, looking at the functions that are generic for Canvas. I don't think I see anything on the chat. If there are no questions at this point, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to continue now on a unit. And I think this is going to be super interesting for you because we're going to get into really what it is like to study through Canvas. So, as I said, once you want to go have a look at your unit, you can either click on the link to the unit if you're using your dashboard. The one that I showed you earlier, you can also click simply on the tile and you're going to be able to reach exactly the same place. So I'm not going to be able to.
Still, I mean, in my case, I'm not sure about the others. I can't see any units. Is it mean that I haven't been enrolled in those units, or?
Not to be worried. I think the first unit that you're going to be studying has not been published yet. So I had a look this morning. What it means is that the lecturer has not made it available to the students. I know for sure that you've been enrolled. And so generally what we do here at Swinburne is that we publish a unit 1 week before the beginning of classes so that all the students can start getting familiar with the content of the unit. So I wouldn't be concerned for now. I know for sure that this unit, which is your first unit, has not been published. But keep an eye on Canvas perhaps around 1 week before the beginning of classes, and you should see one tile, I guess, appear.
Yep.
So thank you for question, Rahim. And sorry, Jessica, to interrupt. So every student receive a confirmation email from Uni for enrollment and login details?
Yeah, so if you haven't received them yet, you will receive your student number, and that student number would also give you, I guess, your Swinburne email address, and with your Swinburne email address, you will be able to log into Canvas. I'm not too sure how they're going to be communicating your student number. I imagine that it's going to be either to a personal email address that you provided before, or you might receive a letter from Swinburne, including your I guess Swinburne student number and information on how to set a password and log into different applications like Canvas.
Oh, thank you so much. So if we didn't receive it yet, there is still like time to wait, or we need to follow up?
No, I think just wait for now. I definitely know that enrollments were underway, and most of you have been enrolled into the unit, so I wouldn't be too concerned as yet.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So now I've clicked on my first unit, and this is actually the first unit that you're going to be undertaking as part of the graduate certificate program. It's called Foundations of Road and Rail Infrastructure Engineering, and it's going to be delivered by an amazing teacher called Renee. And basically when you click on the tile or on the link to the unit, you're going to arrive to a different homepage. In this case, now it's the unit homepage. So we had previously the dashboard, which was kind of the Canvas homepage, and this is the unit homepage. As you can see, we have a new menu that has appeared, and this is the unit navigation menu. The course navigation menu remains there. So the course navigation menu is going to be there at like wherever you are on Canvas. The course navigation menu is going to appear, and it's going to allow you to go back to the dashboard if you need to, or go back to your inbox. And this menu is only going to appear when you're inside of a unit. So the unit homepage, if we have a look at, I guess, this homepage and we scroll down, contains really key information about the unit. So you can take some time to read about the unit structure, how is it going to be delivered, who is your teaching, how you can contact them. They'll generally add information here about either their email address or when they're having some sessions where you can go and meet. So each teacher is a little bit different. So you really want to have, you really want to take the time to read the homepage information. Then on the right, you're going to see a few icons. So if there is any notifications, you're going to be able to see some icon arriving here. So it might be that your lecturer posted a new announcement, or there was a change to an assignment due date. In our case, there is no notifications at the moment for the course. If you click on the course calendar, it's going to be similar to what I showed you earlier. So it's really kind of the key dates for this particular course. In our case, we can see that assignment 2 is coming, and then we have a paraphrasing quiz towards the end of the month. So it can be a different way of seeing the information that is also located on your to-do list. So you might remember earlier that I scheduled some study time. So I can see the study time that I schedule here under my to-do, and I can see the assignments that are coming up as well. So this information is all the same across either your calendar, your to-do list, and it's going to be exactly the same once we go into the assignment section. So I guess the most important thing here is really just to take the time to read about the unit. If you have any questions, just to write it down and clarify when you meet with your lecturer, so that you can be 100% sure about what's going to happen in that unit and what's the structure when you're meeting, etc. If we move down on the menu, the next icon should be your syllabus. The syllabus is sometimes called the unit outline as well. And similar to the homepage, provides key information on the unit. But in this case, we're really going more into detail. So not only you're going to have information about what the unit is and who's teaching, but you can really see, for example, what are the aims? What are the learning outcomes that you should be able to master once you complete this unit? You can see, for example, a little bit more in detail what's going to be covered during the unit. And then you can find information about, I guess, week by week activities, perhaps student tasks or assessments. And it's a little bit like a guide for you all through the teaching period on what you need to do or what you need to read. You'll also be able to see an overview of the assessment structure. So in this case, this unit we can see has 2 assignments. Each of them is worth 50%. They all should allow you to master unit learning outcome 1 to 3. So you can go back to unit learning outcome and read them and see, okay, I should be able, this assignment should allow me to describe and analyze the transport planning process. So it's really the guide for the unit. You can then find also important information about, I guess, submission requirements, what happens if you submit an assignment late, how you should reference reading resources, for example, if you use them in your assignments. If there are any required textbooks, you're going to also find them here, recommended reading materials, and then what is expected, I guess, from the university in terms of student behaviors, some student services that you have access to, Canvas information, academic integrity. So again, my recommendation is that you take the time to read the unit outline, perhaps on that week before the beginning of the teaching period, and get familiar with the unit. Perhaps if there is assignments, you can start thinking about, okay, when are they due? How they're going to fit into my agenda. So I, at least as a student, that's what I would do. I would just use this week by week to kind of guide myself as I continue my studies. So that is for syllabus. On the other side of syllabus, you have, I guess, the assignment weights, which should match what you see here in the unit outline. So in this case, we can see there are 2 main assignment tasks that are worth both 50%. And then there are other activities that are not graded. So we're going to be able to discover what those are about in the assignment section a little bit later. You can also have a look at your calendar. So this is exactly the same as we saw in the home page, highlighting key dates. So if I click on the date, I can see that there are a few activities that are coming up either soon or at the end of the month. So I'm going to move to modules, and modules is really, I guess, the core of your unit. This is where you're going to find the information about your learning. If I just scroll down, you can see every unit is a little bit different, but they generally tend to be structured by week. So most of them will have kind of a topic. Some of them have like general information at the beginning. In this case, it seems like the lecturer decided to put a welcome. They repeated general information about the unit. So you can have a read on those welcome. And then I can see that it's been structured per week. So we have week 1 up until week 4, and then the teacher also created an assessment overview module, and then some language skills. Every single unit is different. So I really encourage you, I guess, to just explore. If I was starting my unit next week, I'll probably go have a look at week 1 and see, okay, what am I going to be learning next week? It seems like we have here a topic overview, the learning objectives, some PowerPoint slides. So probably this is what the lecturer is going to be covering in week 1. And then there are a few discussion points, an activity, and some links. So all of this is going to, I guess, support your learning. And it's going to be available for you at any time. So if you need to refer back to it when you're doing your assignment, you can simply go back to week 1. If you're really curious, I guess you could go all through the 4 weeks before the unit starts to have a real overview of what you're going to be learning. But generally, I guess you just space it out and discover as you go. In the assignment overview, this might not be in all units, but it seems like the lecturer in this case has provided some instruction and guidelines. And so really this is, I guess, the core of your learning materials. So that is for modules. If you don't see anything, it might be that the modules are collapsed. So you might just want to click on the little arrow here to kind of bring them out. Generally, they're already displayed like this, but I don't know, it happens sometimes that they've been hidden underneath. So let's move to assignments. Actually, I'm going to come back to assignment. Let's move to announcements. Announcements, quite an important section of your unit because a lot of lecturers use it to share important information, either related to assignments or, for example, activities or changes in course, in the planning of the course. So whenever you have a new assignment, you're going to have a little red dot, which means that you haven't read it before. As you can see, I haven't read any of these announcements, sorry. But if I click on one of them just to have a look, it seems like, okay, my colleague Adam did an announcement here, giving the students some instruction on how to submit an assignment on Canvas. And then I guess everybody can see this announcement, and it might be helpful for you as you move during your study. Let's have a look. Another announcement. So it seems in this case it's the lecturer. He's just sharing some extra resources that might contribute to your learning. He also shared some information related to, I guess, standards and requirements. So I would really recommend you to keep an eye on those announcements. If you set it up in your notification settings, you will receive an email that will advise you that your lecturer or someone in the unit made an announcement, and then you can simply click that link and it will take you to the announcement and you can consult that information. So that you can set it up as we saw at the beginning through your account and notification settings. Announcements is generally restricted for your lecturer or administrator, so you won't be able to post yourself an announcement. However, depending on the lecturer and what each lecturer decides, you might be able to reply to the announcement or I guess share your thoughts. A place where you can write is in the discussion. So announcement might be used a little bit more by the lecturer, but discussions is really a collaborative space. So in this case, you can see similar to announcement, when there is new discussions, they appear with a little red dot. And it's really an opportunity for you to exchange with lecturer and colleagues on different topics. So in this case, it seems like the lecturer decided to put a case study, and then you could, I guess, have a look at the information and then write a reply. Very simple. So you have, I guess, different settings if you want to edit using the Rich Editor menu. You can also attach documents if you want to, pictures, links. And once you share your ideas, you can just simply post them, and everybody's from the unit is gonna be able to see that you commented on these discussions. Another student or the lecturer might decide to reply to your comment and say, you know what, Jessica, I thought what you commented was super interesting, but have you considered this? And then once this new post is included, everybody's going to be able to see that post. And the idea here is really just to provide a space, to have a space where we can share thoughts and contribute to the learning. Any questions up until now?
Are you
about,
able to delete the comment? Sorry.
Yeah, I think you can delete the comment. If you made a mistake, you can delete it. You can also edit it if, for example, in my case, let's say, oh, it seems like it's been disabled. So each lecturer has the opportunity, I guess, or the choice to allow students to delete or amend their comments. In this case, it seems like the lecturer put settings that don't allow you to delete or edit. However, I think that most units would allow you to. So as you can see, it's been disabled in this case for the students. But if you made a mistake, you could. If I made a mistake and I wasn't allowed to edit, I would probably just do another comment and say, apologies, I think I shared the wrong link. But most units, I think, should allow you to go or edit or delete your comments.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Sorry, Jessica. That's I think Swinburne provides some software for use for student using. When can find these softwares to download?
Sorry, Mustafa, I couldn't hear you properly. So I heard, I think Swinburne provides
softwares. Like what's the available softwares that Swinburne could provide us with it?
I'm really sorry. I think your sound is not very good.
Mustafa, are you talking about
sorry,
the engineering softwares?
So he's asking about software that university usually offers to the students?
Yeah, the university does provide certain software. So I think for this course in particular, you're going to be using specialized software for, oh, I don't want to say it wrong. Is it 4 and 5B, BIM? Is it BIM?
Yeah, BIM.
Yeah. So those software are going to be provided by Swinburne. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert in that area, but your lecturer is definitely going to give you a lot of information on how to access the software, download them, depending on, you know, what computer you're using. There is a range of other softwares that are free for students, and perhaps I can show you where to find those once we finish the Canvas demo. So if you're just interested, for example, in using, I'm thinking, for example, Swinburne has the Adobe Cloud, and so that's
AutoCAD, for instance, AutoCAD.
Yeah, so there are a range of software that are available for students, and perhaps I can show you once we finish the Canvas demo where to find them. Would that be right?
Yep. Also, is there a Turnitin to check the plagiarism before submission? Is that tool available for students?
So to check before publishing
plagiarism.
An assignment?
Yeah, I have an assignment. I want to check it before submission. Is there a Turnitin tool to check the percent of plagiarism before submission?
Yeah, you're going to be able to check your assignments through Turnitin, and I'm going to be demonstrating that when we go into assignments, so you can be, I guess, you can double check about the plagiarism. It's an amazing tool. So it is available through Canvas, and yeah, we're gonna see that in a moment.
Thank you, Jessica.
No worries. Any other questions for now?
Jessica, I just have one question. When can we access our LMS file? Can we access it now? Or?
Yeah, so you should be able to access Canvas now by going to the Swinburne website and clicking into Canvas. As someone commented, it's possible that none of your units have been published yet. So when you log into Canvas, it's possible that you don't see any tiles to click in. And so even if you're able to access Canvas, I mean, the only thing that you're going to be able to do is perhaps add that profile picture if you want to and change your notification settings, but you're not going to be able to go and see the unit content until the unit is published, which I think should happen around 1 week before the official beginning of your course. Any other questions up until now? Okay, I will continue with the few last functions of Canvas, and then we can have a little bit of an open discussion in case you have any questions. So let me close some of these. So I will go back now to assignments because it is an important part of Canvas. Similar to modules, in assignment, you might find that different units are structured in different ways. So not all units have the same assignment structure. In this case, I can see that I have an assignment task here too that is worth 50 points. Firefighting quiz, academic writing quiz. It seems these are learning activities, and then I can see past assignment because this was due. This is just a test environment, you gotta remember, but this was due on the 6th of August, so it's already passed. So when you click on your assignment, it's similar to modules, so they might be hidden, so you might need to open this little tile in order to see them. But when you click onto your assignment, what you're going to find is probably some instructions about your assignment task. So in this case, it seems like the lecturer decided to attach the instructions. If I open these attachments, you can also download them by clicking on this icon. If you prefer to look at the instructions on your computer, so not online. When I open the assignment task, I can see, okay, some instructions. What's the overview? What's the description? Word limit? How much is it worth? Some resources that are going to support me in writing this assignment. The due date, what is expected. So I should include, it seems, my name, student ID, teacher's name. And then I guess some written responses to questions. So really what's important here is for you to have a look at these assignment instructions. If you have any questions or something is not clear, to bring them up with your lecturer, perhaps in one of the sessions that you have, so that you can be 100% sure of what is required, when do you need to submit the assignments, what is the format that your teacher would like to have. If I open the other attachments in this assignment task, I can see there is a cover sheet, so it seems like this is going to be supporting my assignment. And then I can see there is also a rubric. So the rubric is really what's going to kind of allow you to understand how the assignment is going to be graded. In this case, it seems like there is a few assessment criteria. So the first one, for example, might be what is the purpose of the aim of the project, and then your response. Depending on the response that you give, you might receive 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, or 1, or not at all. So when you're writing your assignment, what I would recommend is for you to have a look at the rubric at the same time, so that you can really understand what the lecturer might want, and make sure as much as possible that you align yourself with, I guess, either excellent or comprehensive. As I mentioned, so each assignment might be a little bit different, but in general, they all have instructions and they all have a rubric. Important information at the top. So it seems like it's due on the 9th of September. It's worth 50 points, and you need to submit a file upload. If I was ready to submit my assignment, what I will do is I will click on Start Assignment, and then a new section is going to appear at the bottom, where I'm going to have the opportunity to upload a file, because that's what the lecturer wants for this particular assignment. So if I click on Upload a File, I can choose a file from my computer, and let's have a look where it goes. So let me choose my desktop, and I'm just going to take a random file. And then I could add a comment for the lecturer saying, hi, Jessica, I've completed assignment task 1. This is really optional. You don't need to. If you needed to add an extra file, so if you needed to add more than one file, you can just click and add an extra file, use the same. So go to your computer or desktop, or perhaps if you save your documents on OneDrive, you can also go directly to OneDrive and then select your file. So in this case, I have the 2 files. And then once you're ready, you submit assignment. As you can see, in this case, because the assignment is using Turnitin, I need to click that this assignment is my own work. and it gives you, I guess, some limitations in terms of the size of your file. This is quite, in general, you wouldn't have to worry, but if you experience some issues, there is some help there, and your lecturer can certainly help you in case you need to submit very large files. So once you're ready, you can click Submit Assignment, and let's just give the page a little bit of time to load. And there we go. So I receive a little bit of confetti and a celebration because I've submitted my assignment. So you can make sure that your assignment is submitted by just making sure that you have this submitted status. It tells you what time did you submit it. And then you can go have a look at the submission details. So you can have a look at what exactly you submitted in case you want to make sure that you submitted the good file. So if I realized that I submitted the wrong file, I didn't want to submit the library file, you can simply click on Resubmit Assignment and then do it again. So do new attempt. Generally, you should be able to do resubmit up until, I guess, the assignment due date, but certain lecturers might set up different settings that only allow you for one submission. If you realize you made a mistake and you're only allowed to one submission, I would encourage you to contact your lecturer and just explain the situation. Generally, your lecturers are going to be really happy, I guess, or will understand, for example, if it's just that you submitted a wrong document, and we'll be able to help you by allowing you either to submit again or asking you to send them a file, perhaps by email. So really, don't be scared to contact your lecturer if you have any issues or you made a mistake. So once I've submitted the assignment, I guess, the most difficult parts come up. You gotta wait until your lecturer grades your assignment, and then once it's graded, you're gonna be able to see that under grades. So in my case, I did a little bit of an exercise before, and I submitted one assignment before we met. And so I've also been and graded that assignment for myself, and I gave myself a score of 16.14, which is a very good score. So when you go into your grades, you're going to be able to see the same assignments that we're able to see under the assignment section. You can see the due dates. You can see a status. In this case, the first assignment I submitted late, so that's why it appears late. But if you're not late, it shouldn't have any status. You can see your grades and how much they're out of. And on the side, you can have a reminder of like how much each assignment task is worth. Because assignment task has been graded for me, I can go and click on the comment that the lecturer left for myself. In this case, I left a comment for myself. So I just said, Jessica, great work with this assignment. In your case, I guess the comment might be a little bit different. If you click on the actual assignment link, so you're going to be able to see the comment on this side, your grade. If you click on view feedback, you're going to be able to see what you actually submitted, and your lecturer might have left some written feedback. So in my case, I said, oh, this is very interesting. How did you arrive to this conclusion? Seems like the lecturer also highlighted some parts of my assignment. So you can see the comments in the text and then use that feedback perhaps to improve your future submissions. Here is where you're going to see your Turnitin report. So it seems like in my case, there is something to worry about because it's red. It works a little bit like a traffic light. So green is good. I think yellow or orange is I guess, be careful, and red is probably not very good. Turnitin really provides you with a similarity report and should really just be a guide for you to understand whether there is some similarity in the assignment that you've submitted. What Turnitin does is that it compares your assignment to hundreds and hundreds of previous assignments and also web pages, and identifies where there is, I guess, similarities. Because I just went and copy-pasted the content of a web page and added it to my assignment to do a demonstration, my similarity report shows 100%. So if I was to submit this as my assignment, my lecturer will probably contact me and say, Jessica, it seems like what you submitted is not your own work, and you might have copied something from, you know, a website, and that obviously has consequences in the university, because what we're trying to do is I get develop your own work, and it's important that if you use work that is from someone else, you reference that work, or you acknowledge the person or the website that you took that information from. So it could be that really you just included a quote and you wanted to use that quote to support your argument. That's not a problem at all, as long as you have a reference. So again, important to just, I guess, not because you have 10% that it's bad. It might just be that you're using information from a different website to support your argument. But something for you to know is that the lecturers are definitely going to be using this software. So they're going to be having a look at whether you're submitting your own work. And you can find information on how to reference other work on the library website, and perhaps some other of my colleagues would also give you some tips and guidelines on how to reference. I'm not sure if it's one of the sessions that Adam or one of my colleagues might be running. Based on the feedback that you received, you can either add a comment if you wish to. So sometimes the lecturer might say, might ask you some questions in the feedback, so you have the ability to reply to those questions, and the lecturer is going to receive them. And then you can also, I guess, if you wanted to record yourself instead of writing, and then once you save them, the lecturer is going to receive a notification and see the comment that you left on the feedback. So that is for the grades. Someone asked me if we would be able to see the Turnitin report before you submit it. So I just need to go have a look at the settings of this unit to have a look at whether that has been allowed. Generally, the lecturers will allow you to see the Turnitin report before you submit, but I guess it depends on each lecturer. But the general rule is that you can see it. Let me have a look because I couldn't see the setting on this one. But again, what's important for you to know is that the Turnitin report is really just a guide. You don't need to bring it to 0% similarity. That's not required. It's okay to have some similarity, but if you have 100% similarity, I guess that would be a concern. For example, what I did was not right. Okay, so immediately. It seems like I might have some issues with Turnitin, and I couldn't show you how you're going to be able to see. However, I've prepared a document that is a little bit like a guide on Canvas that I'm going to be posting on the chat, and that's going to have instructions about Turnitin. So perhaps you can refer to that if you want to have a look at how you can consult your similarity report. Milad, I can see you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. I actually have two questions. So first question is, you mentioned about how many attempts you have in, to submit. So how can I find like how many attempts I have? It's like one, or I can have multiple ones. And my second question is about if I want to request for extension, does that go through Canvas, or I should like email the lecturer privately?
Very good question. So let me start with your second question. If you needed an extension for whatever reason it might be, please contact your lecturer and try to do it before the assignment due date. Obviously, sometimes things happen and you're in a difficult situation and you couldn't submit the assignment, and you contact your lecturer after to explain what happened. That is fine as well. But if possible, if it's something that try to contact your lecturer as early as possible, and it's going to be a discussion with the lecturer on what might be the most suitable arrangement. So contact the lecturer by either email. I guess each lecturer is going to let you know how they prefer to be contacted, but I imagine in this case it would be by email. And then the first question about submission attempts. So if the attempts are unlimited, you're going to see what I showed you earlier, where it says resubmit. However, if it was limited, in this case, I've just changed the assignment settings to limited attempts. That's going to appear on the top of the assignment. So next to where you see, what you need, it's going to tell you how many attempts you've done so far and how many attempts you're allowed for. So that might be a little bit more relevant, for example, if a unit has quizzes. Let's see if this unit has quizzes. There we go. So quizzes sometimes might have 3 attempts, let's say. In this case, it seems like, again, it's unlimited. But if there was 3 attempts, you would see it the same way that we had a look just before here at the top. And I guess you would have to be a little bit more careful if you only have 1 attempt to make sure that you submit the file or the document that is really your final document. But again, if you made a mistake, contact your lecturer, because there is generally always a solution.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions on assignment, grade?
Just in terms of Tunity, is it part of assignment option, right?
Yes. So it's going to be in your assignments. Not all assignments have Turnitin included. So for example, if you were going to be doing a presentation, doing a presentation of 15 minutes presentation with one of your assignments, then Turnitin doesn't really make sense, because you're not submitting anything that is written. So that assignment might not have Turnitin. However, generally when you're submitting, let's say, a case study or a written assignment, the university will set up the Turnitin function so that you and the lecturer are able to detect any similarities.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions on assignments?
Yep.
Grades?
Yep, just I have questions.
Yep.
If we work as a group and we have assessment, so just one member of the group did submit for the assessment and would be behalf of the group, or all the
That
group?
is a very good question. So it depends on what the lecturer has set up. So I would encourage you to ask the lecturer. Some lecturers might say only one person is going to submit the assignment on behalf of the whole group. And then the group will receive only 1 mark. Let's say all the members of the group will receive 1 mark. But other lecturers might say each person needs to submit the assignment, and perhaps the group assignment might have, let's say, a peer review, which means that depending on the peer review, not all members might receive the same grade. So these are just examples. there are different ways that an assignment can be set up. So either for individual or group submission, and the same for grading. You could either be grade individually or as a group, depending on what the lecturer decides. So again, my recommendation is to clarify. Let's say you have an assignment that is a group assignment, clarify that from the beginning with the lecturer. And ask the question perhaps during one of the lectures where they're explaining the assignment.
Thank you.
Perfect. So if there are no other questions about assignments and grades, I'm going to move on to the last part of the presentation. I know that this has been quite a long presentation, so hopefully this should only take perhaps 5 minutes more, and then we can have a little bit of a conversation. The last part is Collaborate Ultra. I'm not sure if some of you have worked with Collaborate Ultra or used Collaborate Ultra before, but it's really like similar to, not a problem. If some of you need to leave, that's fine. Collaborate Ultra is similar to Microsoft Teams, so what we're doing now, and it's where you're going to be able to meet with your lecturer and where your lectures are going to be delivered. So the Collaborate Ultra function, I guess, has one menu. When you arrive to the homepage, you should be able to see the sessions that have been scheduled. So for example, I schedule a test session tomorrow from 10:30 to 11. In your case, you should be able to see the lectures that are going to be delivered during the teaching period. So you might have lectures, let's say on Wednesdays from 9 to 10. So you're going to be able to see those scheduled here. And this is also a place where you're going to be able to access the recordings of the previous sessions. So if you miss, for example, one of the sessions, you can go to the menu and click recordings, and you should be able to go back to that recording of the session and consult it. In this case, there are no recordings because there hasn't been any sessions run, but we do have a session that is coming up. So tomorrow at 10:30, what you would do is that you would come into Canvas, you would click on Collaborate Ultra, and then you would click on the test session and you would join the session. Because I'm on a different call, I can't really click on it, but this is what it would look like. So you would click on join session, and then when you join the session, you would arrive to a platform that looks like this, similar to what we're having now on Teams, where you can see a presentation, you can see, you know, your peer students, your lecturer, and this is what is going to be used to deliver the content of the teaching, I guess, the teaching materials. Similar to Canvas, you can set a profile picture if you wish to, so you can do that by clicking on the settings here. And you're going to be able to access similar functions to Microsoft Teams, so that like a chat where you can exchange with your colleagues. Some lecturers might use break rooms, similar to what Ashley did before, where you can, I guess, collaborate with some of your peers on different topics. And I guess you have some options if you want to, or if your lecturer asks you to answer polls or interact with other students. As part of Collaborate Ultra, I guess perhaps the only thing I'm gonna show you here is that on the bottom part, you have a few settings. So you can either turn on your camera, turn on your mic. You can also raise your hand. So very similar to Microsoft Teams. On the settings, this is what they look like. So on the left side, you're going to be able to find some help if you need to, like on how to navigate Collaborate Ultra. This is also where you can find how to leave the session, and on the navigation menu on the right, as I mentioned, is where you can chat or adjust your settings. So again, Collaborate Ultra is going to be, I guess, where you're going to have your live lectures. And your lecturer should be able to tell you probably on the first meeting that you have when those lectures are going to be scheduled, and how often they might run per week. So I think generally it's once or twice per week, but obviously it will depend on each of the units. So again, to access this platform, Collaborate Ultra is just on the unit menu, and then you click on the session. So that kind of covers all of the unit information. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will stop sharing my screen so that we can see each other. And as I mentioned before, I prepare a little bit of a guide for you on Canvas so that you can have a place to go if you need key information. So I'm going to be adding that guide into the chat just in a moment. Milad, please ask a question. I see you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. My only question is about like the Collaborate Ultra, because I noticed that I don't have it on my Canvas page. So does that like will be come later, like courses, or it should be done like from now?
It's a good question. So I imagine that now what you're looking at is the main navigation menu, so the Canvas navigation menu. In order to see Collaborate Ultra, we need to go into a specific unit. So each unit is going to have a different Collaborate Ultra. So until you have access to the actual unit, so let's say the course style on the navigation menu, and you visit the unit navigation menu, which is the second menu, that's where you should see Collaborate Ultra.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Let me put the Canvas training. I'm just sharing the documents here on the chat room. Ashley, anything that you think I should have covered? Any feedback?
No, I think the Turnitin thing is a really common question. But I guess what I always say to students is I think you know best what your Turnitin score will be, because if you have paraphrased properly, then your Turnitin score will be very, very low. And it just another thing with Turnitin, obviously with references, the references often produce quite similar matches. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's some things do produce a match, and that's not always at the responsibility of the student in that sense. But no, that's good. The group submitting group assignments question was good as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that the lecturers will be using Collaborate Ultra rather than Teams. It's just that the enrollment for these students has taken a little while, which is why we've stuck with Teams the whole time. But no, that's good. I like it. I like what you've done.
And again, I guess if you can take something from today's little demonstration, is that you should always feel confident to contact your lecturer if you have any question, if you feel stuck, if you're not too sure what you need to submit. Your lecturers and I guess the Global Education team, we're here to support you and help you in whatever way we can. So feel free to email your lecturer, use the discussion board if you want to discuss with other students. And yeah, good luck. I hope you love your course, and you can't break Canvas, so feel free to play around and take the time to discover the platform.
Thank you. you so much, Jessica. It was a very great session.
Thanks, Jessica.
It's a pleasure, and hopefully once the lockdown is lifted, I guess the team is really excited to have the opportunity to meet you all in person.
Well done, Jess. Well, I really enjoyed the session. Very useful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ashley, I was wondering, is there a more efficient way of sharing, I guess, the document that I prepare? Would it be, how have you been sharing documents?
If you could please email it to me, and then
Okay.
I can get it to the students. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'll also get them a recording of the session as well, because I think they'll find it really useful. Because yeah, as you say, you do need some time to familiarize yourself with Canvas.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good kind of reference point for these guys.
Fantastic. So I'll do
yes,
that.
yeah. So if you send me that, I can distribute that along with the recording, and then yeah, everybody will be fully loaded with all the necessary documents.
Ashley, sorry, you will upload that to YouTube as well?
Yes, I will get you the link. Yes. Yeah. Cool.
Maybe also I have a request maybe in different area. But as I know, the students Swindon, they can use Hawthorne swimming pool.
Yeah. Yes, you do. I think you can use the Hawthorne Leisure Centre. I don't know if it's free, but it might. It definitely attracts a discount. I know that. Yeah. So when you're allowed to come on campus, you can ask that question when you walk in.
Okay.
Good. Yes.
I just realized I forgot to mention where you could find the software, but let me add the link to the chat, and so you can have a look there if there is any software that you're interested in downloading or using, and that is free and offered by Swinburne. Again, what is the software that are required for your specific course might not be on that list. However, your lecturer should be able to give you all the information that you might need on how to download and access those software.
Cool. Okay, the link's in there. That's great.
Perfect. So that's all from my side, Ashley. I'm not sure if record of the session.
Yes, I will distribute the recording of the session. Yeah. I'll also distribute the document that Jessica is going to give me. So yes, just make sure you check your email this afternoon, because you will receive it by then.
Thank you so much. It's awesome.
All right. Cool.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for having me this morning.
All right.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks for coming. You've definitely left a good impression on the students. They seem very happy with what you've shown them, so that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks again, Jessica. Thank you again as well for your concentration over a long period of time. You've done a really good job again. I wish you all a very good afternoon. I hope you can get out into the sun. It's a lovely day. Please do. I'm going to try to. And I am really looking forward to seeing you all on Monday for week 5. We're already up to week 5. Unbelievable. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. But yeah.
Any holiday?
Yeah.
Yes.
You go, Rahim.
No, it's just not really related question. You go for it.
No, I am also want to ask Ashley, even after the meeting, I want him to stay for 2 or 3 minutes. I need to ask him something.
Okay.
So you can go. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. No, I just wondering if there is any holiday after week 6.
I'm not sure. Whenever you're, when you're, commencing the next stage of your studies, there is a grand final holiday which is in September. It's usually the Friday before the grand final, so there might be a public holiday on the Friday, the 1st of October, or is it Friday the 24th?
I think it's the 24th. If there are no changes to the footy schedule. Yes. But your first unit, just to reply to your question, so your first unit of study, I believe, should start on the week of the 20th of September, so perhaps not on the Monday, and you will receive information on, which exact day it might start, but I believe it's on the week of the 20th of September.
Okay, cool. So your last class is on the 16th. Your last class with me is on Thursday the 16th, but you only have one class that week. So I guess it's a mini holiday week 6 because you only have one class and you're doing your presentation.
Holiday from study, not from work, believe me.
But I'm not in control of your work holiday, but I can tell you week 6 will be a bit more relaxed than the other weeks.
So for the main subjects, I mean, for how many hours per week are we going to study? I believe it's only once a week, 1 day a week, or?
I think not all the units might be the same. Based on the information, or based on what I can remember from the previous delivery, I think it was 1 lecture a week plus 1 consultation session, often on Saturday, I think, or on Sunday, like to give, I guess, you the opportunity to go through the content of that week. And I think that consultation session was optional. But again, each unit might be different depending on your lecture. So you should be able to find that information once the unit is published, either on the homepage or on the syllabus.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions? All right, I might stop the recording now, and Ratcha, if you just want to stay behind and I can talk to you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Have a good
See you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much, everybody, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.